Your heart might be asking for help, without you even knowing it. Yes, it can be that quiet. Sometimes it doesn't scream, it doesn't hurt, it doesn't give clear signs like in the movies. Sometimes it just whispers. And if you're not paying attention, that whisper turns into a scream when it's already too late. Many people, especially after 60 or 70 years, start to feel changes in their body. They get tired faster, they get short of breath more often, they feel discomfort here and there. But instead of getting alarmed, they say the same old thing: it's just age. And they let it go. The sad part is that this kind of thinking can cost you your health, or even your life. The heart is a noble organ. It works tirelessly, day and night, asking for nothing in return. But when something is wrong, when it starts to suffer, it doesn't always show it with chest pain. Sometimes it sends more subtle signals, small warnings that, if you know how to recognize, can give you time. Time to act, time to prevent, time to live better and more peacefully. In this video, I'm going to tell you about 5 silent, little-known but deeply important signs that could indicate your heart is in trouble. They are symptoms many older people ignore, thinking they don't matter. But believe me, they matter more than you imagine. And it's not just about you. This can also help you take care of your partner, your parents, your friends. Because if you pay attention to these signs, you could save your life, or the life of someone you love. So stay with me until the end. Because today, we're not going to talk about the fear of dying, but about the power to keep living consciously, with strength, and with a peaceful heart. Now tell me, how old are you? Where are you watching from? Leave me a comment. I'd love to read it and know a little more about you. Let's get started. Tag. Maria is 70 years old. She was always an active woman. She loved waking up early, making her bed, preparing her breakfast, taking a light walk in the park, and in the afternoon, taking care of her plants. She was never an athlete, but she was consistent, strong, independent, until one day she started feeling different. First, it was a little discomfort climbing the stairs, then tiredness sweeping the living room, then something more worrying. She needed to sit and rest after simply hanging laundry or walking a few blocks. It must be the age, she thought. But the problem wasn't age. It was her heart. There is a big difference between natural tiredness from age and fatigue that signals something deeper. The body, of course, changes with the years. It's normal to feel a little slower, less agile. But what Maria felt wasn't just slowness. It was as if her body was giving up before she did. And when the body gives up before you do, your heart might be failing. The heart is a muscle, and like any muscle, if it weakens, it stops working with the necessary strength. When the heart doesn't pump enough blood, oxygen and nutrients don't reach the rest of the body properly. Then everything starts to cost more. Breathing, walking, standing up. Cardiac fatigue is not like running out of energy on a random day. It's not fixed with a nap or a coffee. It's a deep exhaustion that sometimes appears without apparent reason and becomes more frequent, as if the body's batteries could no longer fully recharge. In many cases, this tiredness appears before any other more typical heart symptom. There's no pain, no dizziness, no scares, just that unexplained exhaustion. The most dangerous thing is that many people accept it. They normalize it. They say things like, "I'm not 20 anymore. It must be the blood pressure. It's because I didn't sleep well." And they resign themselves. But resigning isn't the same as taking care of yourself. Maria, fortunately, did not resign herself. One day, when she noticed she couldn't even carry a light bag without feeling short of breath, she decided to see a doctor. After several tests, she was diagnosed with mild heart failure. Nothing alarming, yet. But if she hadn't gone, if she hadn't listened to her body, the story would have been different. And you? Have you lately felt a tiredness you can't explain? Do simple tasks leave you without energy? Do you feel your body tires faster than your mind? If so, don't ignore it. Don't excuse it. Pay attention. Here are some warning signs that should motivate you to talk to your doctor. Fatigue after minimal effort. Need to sleep more hours but without feeling rested. Constant tiredness affecting your daily routine. Difficulty concentrating or thinking clearly due to exhaustion. It's not about living in fear. It's about living with awareness. Because when you understand that fatigue can be a cry for help from your heart, then you can act in time. And remember, your body doesn't complain for no reason. It complains because it needs you to listen. Tag. Carlos was 73 years old. He was always a calm man, a lover of reading and afternoon walks. He didn't smoke, didn't drink. He said he was in good health because he had never been hospitalized. One day, he started feeling a slight discomfort in his neck, right behind his ear. It wasn't strong, it wasn't constant. It only appeared occasionally, like a kind of tension slowly going down toward the shoulder. Carlos thought it was from sleeping badly or from spending too much time hunched over reading. But the pain continued. Weeks later, he also noticed a slight pressure in his jaw, as if he had been clenching his teeth without realizing it. He even felt stiffness in the upper back, coming and going like a badly healed muscle pain. It must be stress, he said, or nerves, or the pillow. He never imagined it was his heart. When we think of a heart attack, we imagine a strong, sudden, dramatic chest pain like they show in movies. But the reality is very different. Many heart problems don't start in the chest. In fact, there is something doctors call referred pain. It's when the brain interprets signals from the heart as if they were coming from another part of the body. It's as if the body tries to warn you, but through unexpected areas. And the three most common in these cases are the neck, the jaw, the upper back. This type of pain isn't always intense. Often it's subtle, intermittent, even deceptive. It may seem muscular, tension-related, or unimportant. But when it repeats frequently, especially without apparent cause, it's a reason to pay attention. Carlos took months to go to the doctor. The pain was never unbearable, but it was strange. Finally, he was convinced to do a full checkup. There, tests revealed a partial blockage in one of his coronary arteries. Fortunately, it was treated in time. But as he himself said later, "I never thought my neck was warning me about my heart." How to know if a pain can be a cardiac warning? Pay attention to the following. Mild pain or pressure in the neck that appears without clear physical effort. Discomfort in the lower jaw, as if it was stiff or tense. Diffuse pain in the upper back, between the shoulder blades, that doesn't improve with massages or changes in posture. Pains that appear at rest, especially at night. Discomfort lasting more than 15 minutes or coming and going in repetitive patterns. And if these symptoms come with fatigue, dizziness, cold sweat, or difficulty breathing, don't wait. Go to the emergency room or call a professional immediately. The problem with referred pain is that it's easy to ignore because it doesn't hurt where it should. But not everything that hurts is muscle. Sometimes what seems like a simple back strain is a cry for help from the heart. And the sooner you treat it, the better the prognosis. Remember this, your body doesn't make up pains. We make them up when we ignore them. Jack. Rosa was 76 years old and had a fairly simple routine. She ate toast for breakfast, drank her coffee with milk, and read the newspaper on the terrace. She had a healthy diet, walked every day, and rarely got sick. One day she began to feel a strange discomfort in her stomach right after eating. She thought it was the bread. Then she blamed the coffee. Later she believed it was nerves. "It's indigestion," she told herself. But the sensation didn't go away. Sometimes it was mild, but constant nausea. Other times, uncomfortable pressure under the chest, as if something was stuck. She even had episodes of intense heartburn that nothing relieved. Still, Rosa didn't think it was serious. What she didn't know was that her heart was asking for help. Many heart problems, especially in older women, present differently from what we've learned. Instead of typical chest pain, there are more subtle, diffuse symptoms, and often they are felt in the stomach. Why does this happen? The heart, esophagus, stomach, and diaphragm share very close nerve networks. When something goes wrong in the heart, those signals can get confused. The brain receives the alert, but interprets it as if the problem came from the digestive system. This is known as referred gastrointestinal symptoms, and this can include nausea without apparent cause, feeling full after eating little, heartburn or burning that doesn't respond to antacids, vague abdominal pain, especially in the upper abdomen, a kind of pressure or weight in the pit of the stomach. Rose's case wasn't simple indigestion. Weeks later, after several days feeling weak and without appetite, she went to the doctor. An electrocardiogram revealed silent ischemia. The blood flow to the heart was partially blocked. She hadn't had a heart attack, but was close. What made the difference? That she didn't ignore it anymore. These types of signs are especially common in women over 60 years old, and many times they're dismissed as stomach problems. But if they aren't accompanied by other typical digestive symptoms, like diarrhea, gas, or fever, and persist without reason, it's time to look deeper. Here are some signs that should raise an alarm. Persistent nausea for more than 3 days. Recurrent indigestion after light meals. Stomach discomfort along with fatigue or cold sweat. Heartburn that appears at night or at rest without having eaten. Loss of appetite without clear reason. If you recognize any of these signs in yourself or someone close, don't take it lightly. See your trusted doctor. A simple electrocardiogram or test may be enough to rule out risks or to save your life. Remember, the heart doesn't always scream. Sometimes its cries sound like sighs in the stomach, and you have to be willing to listen to them. Julian was 79 years old. He was never an athlete, but stayed active with simple tasks, fixing things at home, taking care of his plants, going up and down stairs without difficulty. He liked to sit in his armchair after eating and look out the window while listening to music. One afternoon, without warning, he started sweating while sitting. It wasn't hot. He hadn't moved. He hadn't eaten anything spicy, nor was he dressed warmly. He just started to sweat coldly. He felt a cold dampness on the back of his neck, a wet back, and drops on his forehead, as if he were coming out of a fever. He got scared. He thought maybe it was nerves, or a bad dream, or a cold on the way. But it was none of those things. It was his heart. Cold and unexpected sweating is one of the most ignored and most dangerous signs when it comes to heart problems. And many times it happens without any other visible symptoms. You're sitting, calm, and suddenly the body starts sweating as if you'd just run a marathon. Why does this happen? When the heart can't pump blood properly, the body goes into alarm mode. The nervous system activates emergency mode to maintain blood pressure and guarantee oxygen to the brain and vital organs. That automatic body response is called the adrenergic response, and one of its consequences is sudden cold sweating. It's not the same sweat from hot flashes or anxiety. It's different. Let me explain clearly. Hot flashes appear gradually, usually linked to hormonal changes, and are accompanied by internal heat, facial redness, and a feeling of suffocation. Anxiety. Sweating usually occurs on the hands, armpits, or forehead, and is accompanied by racing thoughts, palpitations, fear, or a feeling of being on alert. Sweating from heart failure appears at rest, unexpectedly, and often with feelings of weakness, nausea, or an unexplained discomfort. It's as if your body knows something is wrong, even if you can't see it. That's what happened to Julian. For weeks he had strange sweating episodes. He always justified them. It must have been the food. Maybe I slept badly. Maybe it's the age. Until one day, that sweat came with strong tiredness and mild pain in his left arm. At the hospital, they confirmed he had suffered a mild heart attack, probably preceded by several episodes of silent angina. He was treated in time, but the doctor was clear. Your body warned you. You didn't listen. And that is the key. When should you worry about cold sweat? If it appears suddenly, without having done effort. If you're at rest and yet feel your clothes wet or your skin sticky. If it comes with dizziness, nausea, fatigue, or palpitations. If you have a history of high blood pressure, diabetes, or high cholesterol. With any of these symptoms, don't wait. Don't say, "It will pass." Don't say, "It's just the heat." Call emergency services or go to the doctor. Because when the heart is in trouble, the body reacts first and reasons later. Cold sweat is one of the quietest ways the body has to ask for help, and many times it's the last before collapse. Don't ignore it. Back. Isabel was 72 years old. She was always an active woman. She walked to the market, climbed the stairs in her house, chatted on the phone for hours without losing her breath. But lately, something had changed. She started to notice that climbing just one flight of stairs, she had to stop. That talking a lot on the phone made her feel suffocated. That even walking around her house, she felt like she couldn't get enough air. It must be the weather, she told herself. Maybe I didn't sleep well. Maybe I'm catching a cold. But days passed, and the shortness of breath continued. What Isabel didn't know was that her heart was starting to fail, and the clearest sign wasn't pain. It was that silent and persistent lack of air. Dyspnea, or difficulty breathing, is one of the clearest signs that the heart isn't working properly. And many times it appears like this. At rest you're fine, but as soon as you walk a few steps, you feel out of breath. Why does this happen? The heart is the organ responsible for pumping oxygen-rich blood to the entire body. When this pumping weakens, blood accumulates in the lungs, and then oxygen doesn't reach as efficiently. The result? Shortness of breath even with minimal effort. It's not the same as being tired. It's not the same as having a cold. It's not the same as losing your breath after running. We're talking about abnormal shortness of breath in simple tasks, like climbing 2 stairs, like walking to the bathroom, like tying your shoes, or even talking for a long time without pause. And most importantly, it tends to get worse over time if untreated. What should you watch out for? If you get short of breath doing activities you used to do easily, if you feel you need to stop to breathe, if when lying down you need more pillows because lying flat suffocates you, if you wake up at night gasping or with a feeling of chest tightness, these are classic signs of possible developing heart failure. Isabel went to the doctor months later. She said, "I'm tired all the time and I get out of breath doing everything." After several tests, the cardiologist explained that her heart was enlarged. It no longer pumped with the strength it used to, and that was affecting her lungs. The diagnosis was moderate heart failure, a treatable condition if detected early, but dangerous if ignored. And you? Have you felt like you can't get enough air? If so, don't let it pass. Here are some tests you can ask your doctor for. Electrocardiogram, to see the heart's electrical activity. Echocardiogram, to observe the size, shape, and pumping strength. Stress tests, which evaluate how your heart responds to physical activity. Chest X-ray, to check for fluid in the lungs. Blood tests like BNP natriuretic peptide, which indicates heart overload. Remember, shortness of breath is not an inevitable part of aging, nor is it normal to feel exhausted after climbing stairs or walking inside the house. Your body is talking to you. Listen, because the sooner you act, the easier it will be to improve your quality of life. Tag. Why do so many older people ignore heart signs? Why do we let symptoms pass? Why do we convince ourselves it's nothing, even when the body is asking for help? The answer is more common than you think. Fear, misinformation, and shame. Many men and women start to notice changes in their body. Tiredness climbing stairs, shortness of breath walking, sweating without effort, digestive discomfort that won't go away. But instead of seeing a doctor, they say things like, "It must be age. I'm just a little tired, that's all. I don't want to exaggerate over nothing. I don't want to worry my kids." And with every excuse, they move further away from a possible solution. There's a phrase we hear a lot. At a certain age, everything starts to fail. And although the body changes over time, that doesn't mean we should accept any discomfort as inevitable. Normalizing symptoms is one reason many diagnoses come late. And when they come late, options are fewer, treatment is harder, and risk is much higher. There's also fear. Fear of being told something is wrong. Fear of the hospital. Fear of medicines, surgeries, depending on others. But ignoring symptoms doesn't make them disappear. It only gives them more time to get worse. And finally, there's silent pride. That idea that you shouldn't bother your kids, that doctors have enough work, that what's the point if they'll just tell you to rest? Many older adults were raised in a culture where asking for help was seen as weakness. But taking care of yourself is not weakness. It's responsibility. Responsibility to yourself, and also to those who love you. Because when we ignore what we feel, it's not only us at risk. The family also suffers if an emergency comes that could have been avoided. So take a pause. Think about your body. Have you felt any of the signs we mentioned? Strange tiredness? Discomfort in the neck or jaw? Persistent indigestion? Cold sweats? Shortness of breath doing minimal tasks? If any of this sounds familiar, don't excuse it with age. Don't let it pass out of fear. Don't hide it to avoid bothering others. Listening to your body is an act of courage. Taking care of yourself in time is an act of love. And many times, a simple visit to the doctor can make the difference between a limited life and a life full of years to live. Key. Sometimes the body doesn't scream. It whispers. It speaks softly with signs that seem small. And if we don't learn to listen to them in time, those signs can become emergencies. Today I want to tell you two true stories. Two older people, two different decisions, and two very different endings. The first story is about Mr. Ernest, a 79-year-old man. He had been feeling a dull pain in his upper back for weeks, right between his shoulder blades. At first he thought it was from sleeping badly. Then he believed it was from carrying groceries. But one day the pain spread to his neck and he started sweating, sitting down, doing nothing. Still, he didn't go to the doctor. "It must be a muscle strain," he said. "A little rest will fix it." But it didn't. One morning, while shaving, he felt dizzy and fell to the floor. His daughter took him urgently to the hospital. The diagnosis: evolving heart attack. They stabilized him just in time. Today, Mr. Ernest lives with a pacemaker and a calmer routine, but he knows he waited too long. "If I had gone to the doctor when I started sweating for no reason, maybe I wouldn't have reached the limit," he told us. The second story is about Mrs. Martha, 74 years old. She noticed lately she ran out of breath sweeping her house. It wasn't pain, just a feeling of suffocation she didn't have before. She also had no appetite and got tired easily. But unlike Ernest, she did ask for help. She went to the doctor, who told her her heart wasn't pumping well. She had the first signs of heart failure. But since she went in time, she could start medication and make lifestyle changes. Today she walks, laughs, cooks, and says, "I listened to my body when it started whispering, not when it couldn't anymore." Both stories leave us a lesson. The heart speaks. It always speaks. Sometimes with a tired sigh, sometimes with slight dizziness, sometimes with pain in an unexpected place. But when we wait too long, the whisper becomes a scream, and then it's no longer prevention, but emergency. You can decide when to act. Wait until it's too late, or make the decision now while there's still time. Because it's not just about living more years, it's about living them with quality, energy, and freedom. Don't ignore your body's warnings. Don't minimize what you feel, because sometimes a timely checkup can save your life. Now that you know the silent signs, the question is, what can you do today to take care of your heart? The good news is, you don't need to do complicated things, nor live in fear. Small changes can have a huge impact on your cardiovascular health, And the best part? You can start right now. First, move every day. You don't need to run marathons, lift weights, or join a gym. What your heart needs is constant, moderate, and regular activity. Walking between 20 and 30 minutes a day at a steady pace is enough to improve your circulation, strengthen your heart, reduce bad cholesterol, and control blood pressure. You can do it outdoors, at home, in a long hallway. The important thing is that your body doesn't stay still all day. Second, take care of what you eat without strict diets. Reduce salt intake. Avoid processed foods. Choose fruits, vegetables, legumes, fish, and nuts. Excess salt raises blood pressure, and when pressure rises uncontrollably, the heart works harder and weakens faster. Cook with less salt, try natural herbs for flavor, and read food labels. Many products have hidden salt even if they don't seem to. Third, prioritize rest. Sleeping well is not a luxury, it's a biological necessity. When you sleep little or poorly, your heart never fully recovers. It stays on alert, with more pressure, more inflammation, and more fatigue. Establish a sleep routine. Have a light dinner. Turn off screens before sleeping. Keep your room cool and dark. Go to bed and wake up at the same time. Sleeping between 7 and 8 hours can be more powerful than many medicines. Fourth, get regular checkups. Don't wait for pain to see the doctor. Check your blood pressure at least once a month. Monitor your cholesterol and glucose levels. Get an electrocardiogram if you notice fatigue, dizziness, or palpitations. These tests are simple, quick, and often free at health centers. Remember, prevention is the best treatment. And finally, listen to your body with respect, not fear. Don't ignore changes. Don't normalize pain. And don't minimize what you feel just because you're older. You have the right to live with energy, dignity, and health. The heart is a strong muscle, but even the strongest needs care and attention. So, where can you start today? Go for a walk for a few minutes. Cook without added salt. Schedule that checkup you've been postponing. And tonight, give yourself a good rest. Because taking care of your heart is not just living longer, it's living better. Buchakak. The heart is silent. Until it stops being so, it doesn't scream, it doesn't beg. It doesn't send clear messages like a wound or a fever would. But it does ask for help, with small, almost invisible signs. Strange fatigue, sweating at rest, shortness of breath, pains that come and go, discomfort that seems like something else. And many times, those signs are ignored because we believe they're normal for age, because we don't want to worry anyone, or simply because we're too busy, until it's too late. Okay. Today you already know not all tiredness is normal, that back pain can come from the heart, that sweating at rest is not something to ignore, and that your body warns you. It always warns you. You just have to listen in time. So take a moment and ask yourself, have you ever felt any of these symptoms? Have you run out of breath climbing a few stairs? Do you know someone who should watch this video? Leave it in the comments. We want to know your story, your age, where you're watching from. And above all, we want to create a space where older people listen to each other, take care of each other, and support each other. Nkek. If this video helped you better understand your health, if you learned something new today, or if you think it could save someone else's life, do something very simple. Share it. Send it to your children, your siblings, that friend who always says, I'm fine, but you know they don't go to the doctor. And if you're not subscribed yet, do it now.
Turn on the notification bell so you don't miss any of our upcoming videos.
Here we speak with respect, clarity, and care. Because aging doesn't mean giving up. It means learning to live better every day. Thank you for being here. See you very soon in the next video.